What's this place?
Alrighty, welcome back to the Sonic Adventure commentary with me, Skully the Metalhead. Today we're going to be tackling more of Amy's story, and as you'll probably find out by the time I get around to recording Knuckles' story, which I actually already have, I bring up that I have to re-record this part again. And I did for one absolutely stupid bloody mistake, where, you know, I had everything recorded, and I actually had a pretty decent commentary run on that as well. You wanna know what I fucked up on? I didn't lower the decibels on the gameplay audio, so, like, while the part is still there, and I actually do recover a fraction of it for the sake of some editing gags, yeah, something happened where it's fucking unusable, and I really should have checked the video beforehand before I started editing up the other parts, because, you know, I did cover Gammas and Bigs and story. In fact, after Knuckles' story, I'm pretty much going to be done with the commentary. I mean, granted, I'm not going to be recording any more parts after this, because, you know, want to focus on the review and everything. But, yeah, a bit disappointed in myself for fucking doing that. And it's mostly because of the fact that I really love the commentary that I had on there, you know? So, again, if I'm going to be reiterating over points that I had previously done before, I apologize for that. But again, it's not really much that's within my power, because, you know, I'm a scatterbrain motherfucker, and, I'm sorry, I'm just really kicking myself right now. But on that note, I do hope that I will be able to talk about, you know, stuff about Amy's story, because last time I was very much covering over my review notes, and I think I might be able to divulge at least something similar, hopefully. Oh god, I probably won't, but anyway, here's a cutscene, and I'll just stew around depressedly.
Nova! Ciao! Don't be afraid. You're safe with me. What was that? I wonder if I'm dreaming. Oh my! I need to get out of this place!
Kinda forgot how many cutscenes there were around in this part of the game. And there's actually a massive cutscene coming up, so I won't really have an opportunity to talk, for better or for worse, so see you then.
Where do you think you're going, Amy? You can't get away this easily!
Sonic, help!
Too late, buddy!
Birdie! It's a Chaos Emerald! What?
I don't need you when I've got this! Gamma!
At your service, sir.
Dispose of these annoying pests! Give them all you got!
Aye, aye, sir. Will comply.
I've got better things to do!
my way!
No! He helped me before by letting me escape. This robot is different. You don't need to hurt him, okay?
Amy! Okay, I guess I'll let him go then.
The A-carrier's losing altitude.
We're fresh out of time! Take Amy and clear out, fast!
What about you?
I'll nail that Eggman! Can't let him escape!
I knew you would save me, Sonic! You're my hero! You okay? It's dangerous here! Don't pay attention to Eggman anymore! Free yourself, come on!
Why are you helping me?
I said we'd be friends, and I'm returning your favor! Even this birdie wants you to be free! Eggman's not the kind of man you should work for. Amy, come on, let's get going! Until we meet again, Mr. Robot, take care of yourself! Sonic is doing. He's always rescuing me, it seems. I should be more independent. You know you sure surprised me by having a Chaos Emerald with you. No wonder they were after you, my feathered friend. Hey, a pendant! Wow! So I'll help you find your family. Does Eggman have them captive now? I bet he does. So I'll help you find your family. I've come this far. I may as well go all the way. That robot said Dr. Eggman's base is in the Mystic Ruins. So what do you say we check it out?
And as I mentioned before in the last part, this is something that I think really does speak to a positive detriment, no. It speaks to a positive point about Amy's character in the sense, like, I mean, I mentioned beforehand that she was just, you know, protecting the bird out of kindness for the fact that, you know, it was injured and was being chased by Zero. Now, you know, that everything's been taken care of, Amy has absolutely no reason to be helping this bird, and yet she does. Which, again, to me, really does speak great volumes about her character. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people look at Amy as like, oh, it's just the girlfriend character for Sonic, she's obsessed, Sonic have my babies and all that kind of stuff, but, you know, in the Sonic Adventure, when Amy had, like, an actual character and motivations that extend beyond Sonic, I love this stuff, and it also comes at the cost of, you know, not only actually giving her some sort of spunky personality, you know, looking at you, Sonic Boom, it just does so in a way in which it just feels very natural and organic to her character without having to go the more generic route that Sonic Boom went, which is something that I don't really like very much, but you know, my brain's a bit of a mess, so I'll talk about it a little bit later.
I don't remember this bridge. Looks dangerously suspicious. Wanna go?
So, if we go into the cameo base, which is only it's really only what I call it because it has Mecha Sonic and Metal Sonic in there. I have no idea why the hell Mecha Sonic was in there. I'm not sure if they had plans for him or anything like that. Like, I mean, I couldn't find anything on the development history about him, so maybe Sonic RPG left over, possibly? I'm not too sure. Oh well, we have Metal Sonic here, who was obviously had a purpose in the cutscene beforehand, so, you know.
Transformers.
Quick edit there, because I needed to take a drink of Pepsi before my brain collapsed into a melting pot of braininess. Whatever. Enjoy the cutscene.
Not you again!
Look at the utter look of terror on Amy's face right there, man. That is freaky. And people say that these Sonic games were jerky when you could see a clear expression of the emotion. I'd be hard-pressed to say that this is actually one of my favourite stages in the game. I think I might have mentioned this in the previous take of this commentary, but I really do mean it. I really love this stage, and I think it actually has... Well, I think it very much emphasises a lot of what Amy's story is generally about, which is, you know, avoiding Zero. And I think this is also one that tries to play up the stealth aspect a little bit more. But at the same time, though, well, I'd say Hot Shelter probably does a little bit better than Final Egg, but... I don't know. I wouldn't say better, really, I'm just... Fuck. This is exactly what I worried, I'd be a mumbly fucking mess, compared to last time where I actually had shit to say. But I think this probably illustrates my point. Like, this is meant to be a stealth section. And, I don't know if I mentioned it beforehand, but I'll bring it up again for the sake of clarity. Zero's gameplay... Well, Zero? I mean, Amy's gameplay was meant to encompass two things, one of which, as I mentioned before, was basically a Resident Evil Nemesis-style scenario where you have to run away from an unstoppable killing machine. But there was also a stealth aspect included, and it isn't quite focused upon, like in the same sense that a Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid game would. It's more so done as an aspect to help, rather than hinder, where... And again, essentially what you'd be doing is trying to hide from Zero, and, you know, the hiding mechanics, well, they're about as fleshed out as Silent Hill Shattered Memories, to be honest, where you can try and hide in specific places, but it isn't really going to do you any good. Like, I mean, you can hide in a barrel, but again, and Zero will search around for you, but if he can't find you, then he will just start getting frustrated and spaz out by smashing the ground, and the shockwave will end up damaging you, which renders the hiding mechanics completely pointless, in my opinion. This room is also something I want to talk about. I'm not sure if it's random, because, like, I mean, you have 5 doors to check, you know, you go through each one, come to a dead end, try again. I don't know if it's random or if you can get it on your first try. I've usually found the exit, like, last, and again, I don't know if it's set at random each time, but... Or if it's like, you have to open all the doors before you can find the correct one in order to access the next part of the level. I don't know, it's really confusing about that. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just not sure if it's random or if it's fixed. It's confusing. Not really sure what else I have to talk about, really. I think this is actually Amy's... Actually, yeah, it is Amy's final level. A decent final level, if nothing else, even if a lot of people look at Amy's gameplay as just... Either it's eh, or it's bad. Which I wouldn't quite go as far to say as Amy's gameplay is bad at all, but again, that's just general fan reaction and hyperbole, if nothing else.
That was a close one! I saw no sign of your relatives, Birdie! Oh! You escaped from the egg carrier! So maybe your family's still in there! Let's investigate, wanna?
Huh. It's weird, well, again, for those of you wondering why I'm mumbling right there, there's actually a grammar mistake that I actually thought was a part of Sonic Adventure, where it was, you know, Amy says, like, let's investigate, wanna? And it was spelled like W-O-N-N-A. I think that actually might be exclusive to the DX port, which is weird, because you would have thought that they would have patched that up, for that, but, no, I guess it isn't in the Dreamcast version at all, which only makes the inferior GameCube port all the more sucky, because it's on Nintendo consoles. Whatever, suck out. Yeah, as I was going to mention beforehand, I really do admire Amy's character, or at the very least the effort that Akinori Nishiyama put into writing her in this game. It's something that I honestly do kind of want to cover towards the ending, since it is the most prevalent there rather than anywhere else, but it just makes me sad about the amount of characterization that has regressed over the years with the Sonic cast, which is due to a myriad of reasons, mostly due to a lack of consistent continuity, so to speak, if that's even really a thing anymore, but that kind of makes me sad. So, Chaos Control. If only all of life's problems could be solved by Chaos Control, but yeah, we're actually reaching the end of Amy's story. Passed by pretty quickly, but I really hate how this take is turning out. Way too mumbly and definitely not as good as the first take. I'm just living in regret. See, Amy is just standing there, in mourning of the previous take. Oh, fucking hell. But in any case, I have a lot to say about Amy's character, but I can't quite reveal it just yet. Yes, it will. Now we have to go back to the egg carrier. Via this dinky little boat thing. Yeah, don't worry, I'm sure people won't mind if we take it. Belongs to people. Stealing. So, Amy's one and only moment of badass. Well, actually, I wouldn't even say one and only. I'd say her biggest moment of badassery comes with the form of her only boss fight in the game, Zero. Now, Zero, compared to quite a few bosses in Sonic Adventure, actually does put up a decent challenge. I'd say if you're unprepared for him, he will catch you off guard. But again, his pattern is actually pretty simple. Gotta knock him into the electric gates, it fries the circuits, he opens up the core that powers him. Then you go, bada bing, you do the thing, you smash him against the thing, and Bob's your uncle, really. Again, it sounds simple enough to do, but Zero was a bit of a spazzy fucker. He'll, spaz out on the ground, and this is probably the most annoying attack that'll get you damaged the most. He spins around with his little jump ropes. But again, you shouldn't have too much trouble against Zero. That being said, though, I think this is probably the only time you'll ever see Amy's panties-flashing victory pose, which, again, a bit questionable for a lot of people, especially since it leads to a lot of discomfort, except for people that are into furry stuff, like, manly sexual habits, or womanly sexual habits. Whatever's your poison, I'm not gonna judge. Now let's have one final hammer spin for victory, as Zero blows up without an animal inside, which, I guess is a little bit of a precursor to the prototypes that Eggman would later make for the egg pawns, not being powered by animals, and she didn't flush her panties this time. Thank you, convenient camera angle.
Please wake up, Birdie! Are you okay? Can you fly? try my best, too! Just watch me! I'll make that Sonic respect me! And by that time, it's gonna be too late!
And that, dudes and dudettes, was the end of Amy's story. Fire! 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 Oh my god, I gotta stop this. I don't like oh, this song is tearing me apart. Ugh, god, what is this song doing to me? This is the song that plays in my nightmares, and I always just rock back and forth in existential panic. In fact, I'm sure the moment that my mind snaps in two like a Twix bar, I'm gonna be living in a mental asylum for the rest of my days, singing, fire, fire. Ugh, that song's gonna be playing in my mind for 24/7. But again, torture aside, that was Amy's story. What do I think? Would it be right of me to say that this is Amy's finest hour? Well, I mean, finest hour, but also, I guess, I'd say Sonic Adventure 2 and a couple of bits and pieces of moments throughout the series would kind of count as that as well. I don't know, I mean, to me, Sonic Adventure feels like the game that fleshed out Amy the most in terms of her personality. I mean, yeah, we get the whole Sonic says, "Sonic, my hero." You know, we get all that sort of stuff as well, but, you know, we get something more, which is mostly in Amy's drive, you know, to go the extra mile and just being kind. No, like, I mean, with the Flicky especially, like, I mean, she didn't have to protect it from Zero, she didn't have to help it look for its family at her own expense, but, you know, she did anyway. She kicked Zero's ass, and she proved to herself that, you know, she can kick some ass and do her own thing. And, you know, a lot of that was without Sonic being directly involved. Like, I mean, yeah, she went off and found Sonic, you know, to be the bird's bodyguard, but, you know, when the bird got captured, she offered to protect it, she didn't want to give it over to Gamma, and, you know, she went off on her own, without Sonic, to go off and help it find its family, and to me, it's a sort of character writing that I think Amy needs more of, and then again, I suppose that sort of thing could be said for quite a few Sonic characters in the series nowadays, but in the case of Amy especially, it just made her feel like a well-rounded person, and, you know, with this little character arc, I feel like it kind of makes me feel as if Amy would have outgrown the whole, you know, Sonic have my baby sort of archetype that a lot of people like to slag Amy as, which it didn't really help once we entered the Dreamcast era. Well, the later part of the Dreamcast era, I should say, when character flanderization tended to get a little bit more, you know, prevalent. But at the same time, though, like, I mean, it's not my favourite story in Sonic Adventure, but it is one that I do love a fair bit, and it's character development that I kinda wish stuck. Then again, though, I do kind of have my suspicions as to why it didn't stick, but I don't really want to cover it here because that's a little bit too cynical, and I don't like being cynical about my favourite games. In terms of gameplay, though, and I think that's probably the biggest sticking point for a lot of fans, is that, you know, her gameplay, while it is very sluggish comparatively to some of the speedy characters like Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, I do enjoy decently enough because, again, you know, you're not a super-powered Hedgehog, you don't have the Chaos Emeralds, you don't have, you know, spin dashes or homing attacks or anything like that. No, you're just a relatively normal person in Sonic's universe trying to survive against a dangerous robot, and to me, that actually makes for a far more potent, you know... Again, to bring up Sonic Forces briefly, like, I think this honestly would have made for a far more effective means of, you know, having a character who's completely normal within the Sonic universe, being thrown into a situation where they're in this, you know, fight against Dr. Eggman. And, like, I mean, outside of Amy's hammer and spin jump and surprisingly nimble abilities... Oh god, please don't freeze on me. My video right now. Fucking hell. Anyway, if I could just talk briefly and cover the mechanics. Kind of forget my point right there. I'm so sorry that came out so mumbly, but then again, video recorders, aren't they fun? Stealth mechanics, I do wish they could be patched up, assuming that Amy's gameplay style, and the unlikely event that it ever returns, is brought back, because, you know, I'd like to see the hiding mechanics refined, and, you know, while I do think it is decent that, you know, they didn't make it essential to Amy's gameplay, if you're going to include it at all, I'd at least like to see some improvements upon the stealth mechanics. In fact, I'd say, again, not necessarily that the game has to follow it, but I'd say a better example of how to do hiding mechanics well would be Forbidden Siren. which again, completely out of left field example, considering that that's a psychological horror game. I don't know, I think it'd be something cool to follow up on. Anyway, I'm gonna politely ignore the whole, "her Sphinx is cute, I had to shave it" line from this song, which is creepy as hell. Anyway, on that note, I am Skully, keep it new metal. I'm sorry that this part came out so mumbly, and I'll see you next time in the Sonic Adventure commentary. Bye-bye.